Hi guys, welcome back to another podcast. I'm joined by, as per usual, Suash. If you can say hello, simple.
Hello, everyone.
And I've also got another special guest for the first time. We're going to welcome Oscar. So, do you want to introduce yourself, Oscar?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Oscar. I'm 23 years old, and just like Suyash and Jamie, I'm also on the sports journalism course, just doing the masters. And I thought, why are you guys laughing?
I'm sorry about. Alright, carry on. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, all right. um, so yeah, no, my two favorite sports are football and tennis. I support Ajax, and yeah, but I feel like my biggest passion will probably be tennis, since I've been playing that for 18 years, and I've been also playing tennis on a scholarship in the United States, so that's probably what I know the most about. But I love watching football. I follow a lot on different pages, so yeah, I like to talk a bit about football as well. So yeah, let's see how this podcast is gonna fold out.
Right now, I'm going to interrupt you right there. What I want to say is, I know Oscar Donker's not the most sincere Ajax fans because he hasn't watched yesterday's game, which was supposed to be one of the biggest games in the Eredivisie. But I don't know.
Well, okay. I feel you guys are kind of calling me out here. Yeah, no, true. I didn't watch that game. I was actually watching the Carabao Cup final in between Man City and Spurs. But yeah, it's just because the Dutch league, it's a bit difficult to watch it from here. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And yeah, also the Dutch league, we've pretty much won it anyway. We're too good for it.
Yeah.
Right now we played yesterday against AZ, and I wasn't really expecting many of the viewers to really know much about the Dutch Eredivisie, but yeah, we were 12 points clear of PSV, and yeah, AZ's pretty much just fighting for the second spot in the Eredivisie. But yeah, I mean, we're 12 points clear now of PSV, and there's only 4 games to go, so we're pretty much already the champions. But hopefully it's gonna be official next week.
In regards to your league, obviously, I think that we spoke about it on Friday. Actually, apparently it's going to be like submerged, where you're going to have Belgian teams and teams from Holland join together to make kind of like an
Yeah,
exclusive league.
that's been a discussion for like a few years already, and it really like it's very similar to the Super League discussion, I think, because basically you are creating like this mini Super League within, like, a small yeah, kind of like a small area with the Netherlands and Belgium. And I personally always thought that would be a good idea if you want to, like, for Dutch clubs and Belgian clubs, if you want to maybe reach back to like the top of Europe again, because we have such small leagues now that, like the broadcasting revenue that we get it's so much smaller than, for example, the Premier League. Like Aston Villa, they almost relegated last year. They still get 10 times the amount of broadcast revenue than Ajax gets, for example. So, if we merge those two leagues, it's going to be, a bigger market for people to watch it. Mainly it's still going to be just our two countries, but still, I mean, we're like doubling the market. So yeah, I mean, that would probably bring some more revenue, and maybe some more competition that eventually could lead to clubs being able to to really go at it in Europe. But it's I felt like it's a bit cheating, honestly, because it's very like similar to like the Super League. It's pretty much on like a lower level, but yeah.
At the end of the day, I think I'm not sure what Sergio's opinion is, but from looking from an outside perspective, I don't really watch the Eredivisie. I mean, I know of Ajax, but the only time I watched Ajax is when you had that Champions League run a few years ago. So I think maybe bringing those leagues together. Obviously, you talk about broadcasting revenue. I think it'll probably be helpful, but do you think that in the long term, the fans will be unhappy because those are inside their countries and have to travel further for away games and kind of like the cost of all that? And is it gonna this? What is the like general feeling amongst Holland football fans? Is that something that is it a welcomed idea, or like the Super League? Is it something that's opposed?
Yeah, it's a big mix because like those lower the lower clubs in the leagues, they're screwed because they're not gonna make it. And then like who's gonna watch like the second league in the Eredivisie? Like no one is. So those clubs are pretty much like dead. Um, and then some of the fans like you get like the most common things. They say like, oh, now we have to travel like so much further. But honestly, I think that's a bit of a weird reason because you just get used to it. Like the Netherlands, we drive 1 hour and you're almost at the border of Belgium already. So like driving 2 hours, that's what we complain about then. But yeah, give it like 2 or 3 years and everyone's going to be used to it. And I feel like some people are saying like, yeah, we're not really looking forward to like Ajax playing against Anderlecht or Club Brugge. So I'm a bit doubting like how to pronounce it, if I want to pronounce it in Dutch or like within like an English accent. But so but at the same time, like who wants to see Ajax like play against VVV Venlo that we beat 13-0 earlier this season? Like it's if I feel like if they really wanted, I mean it's quite a game. I mean Robbie was like it was his first starting position for Ajax, and he scored 5 goals on his debut. So I mean, it was a good day for us, really. But I mean, it's a bit of a joke, really, and I feel like it's if they like really want to push it through. In Belgium, they're pretty much in favor for it, but in the Netherlands, they're still like doubting a bit. Like, do we want to do something like that? But I feel like if like all the top clubs, if they say like, yeah, we want to do this, then I feel like it's gonna happen.
What do you think will happen?
I think it's difficult. I feel like because like so much like backlash has happened from the Super League. I feel like it's difficult to say because it's like a very similar concept. So I don't feel like it would happen like anytime soon. But I think I think it could happen if the Super League has not already happened yet. Or maybe if the Super League happens, then that will happen as well. Because
that actually links well with what the main talking points are. Obviously, the Super League. So we'll bring Suresh in for the first time. But Suresh, as a Man United fan, what do you think of the whole idea of the Super League? I'm guessing you pretty much discussed it like everyone else.
Yeah, sure have. I mean, I'm just glad that's not gone ahead because it was simply just about the money. It's all about the owners here because ever since the Glazers have taken over, I think they've sucked over £1 billion out of the club. And I mean, it's just all they want is money from the club and they don't want to do anything for the fans. They're not thinking about the fans and what they want. So, and it's probably a fair comment to say as part of owners, I think it's their responsibility to think of their club as their business because that's basically how they view it. So from their point of view, it probably made sense to maximize profits. But the thing that they got confused about here is it's not just about supporters here. It's about all the fans all over the world who are watching Man United and who are watching this league. So I think I'm glad that it didn't go ahead. But I won't be surprised if this issue comes up ahead in another few years because I think they've tried to do that now. Yeah, it's not going to go away. That's basically what I'm saying.
I mean, you pretty much have like the new Champions League set up right now, right?
Yeah.
It's a joke.
I feel like it's basically like this step in between to eventually like go to the Super League in a few years' time.
Yeah, I don't think UEFA helped themselves, to be honest. I think this is all coming through. Obviously, you get these clubs that now have these kind of like commercially it's important, and you see the fact that there's no revenue coming from outside Europe because the viewing figures from inside Europe are pretty low anyway. I think that's part of the reason why they want more games, they want more money. So I just don't like even Perez now. I mean, he's saying the idea is not going away, and the clubs are still in a binding contract, which means technically they're still involved. And the fact that they agreed to it and there's going to be no repercussions, what's to say that they won't do it again? And I can't see it kind of like going away completely.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. And plus, I mean, as people who are into businesses and as proper businessmen, I think they've got this move wrong because to expand and grow this market, I think this was the wrong move and the wrong time to do it as well. Because right now, I think, especially after COVID, the broadcast market and the sport market in general, I think it's quite saturated. I don't think there's any more to stretch out of it right now. If they would have waited for a few years' time after things got back to normal, which I hope they do, but if they would have waited for a while, I think it wouldn't have had the amount of backlash that it had right now. Because I don't know. I mean, I just feel this was the wrong time to decide to go ahead with it.
And
And if I'm not wrong, I think they planned about this a few years back as well. It's been in the talks for a while now. But yeah.
The thing that pissed me off was the fact that they used the whole COVID situation as an excuse to get there even more. Like, I think everyone could see through their lawyers.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think like the feeling I got from it was that it was like really rushed. Like suddenly, like because like you know, they have like these plans for like, of course they were talking about it for years and years, but it suddenly felt like they all it just really came out of nowhere, like in the middle of the season. This the Champions League, I mean, we're about to play the semifinals. Like, I feel like normally if everything is planned out well, you would probably, you know, come up with it like sometime like during the summer, like during the summer break or something. And I think personally, I think it's just like with COVID and stuff, I think it just COVID, like, you know, like sped up like the whole process of it. I think these clubs, like, they are in pretty big financial troubles. Like,
Yeah, that's because they spend all the money in the transfer window, then they're looking for another reason to be able to make that money back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look at some ridiculous signings. I mean, Man U's the prime example. Fred, 54 million.
Yeah.
And Maguire, no, good defender, but he's not worth 85 million. Wan-Bissaka, 50 million. Like, the list can go on, really. And I think Barcelona's the worst one for me because they've got Coutinho, it was well over 100 million. Dembele, well over 100 million. De Jong, well over 100 million. Griezmann, well over 100 million. They're spending more money than they actually have, and it's their own fault.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's kind of like this cycle of like, they feel like they need to buy something more attractive every transfer period in order to make more money again. And that keeps like going on and going on to like a higher level until at a certain point you reach like the ceiling, which for them is this like original Champions League, and the ceiling has dropped a bit because of COVID. And now they're like, oh, we're like in serious trouble. Like, what are we going to do now? So yeah, that I felt like that's why it was so rushed to like come up with the Super League. And I think so many, like, of course, like one of the biggest like issues with the Super League, I think as well, was like, well, Bayern and PSG are not in it. Like, I felt like that also shows that it was so rushed. Like, if you want to make the Super League, you pretty much have to make sure that those teams are also in it.
I think
I mean, although with PSG, it's quite obvious that they were not going to join in before the World Cup, were they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like they would have known that, right?
Yeah.
If you're the owner of Real Madrid, you know that, like, well, if we're going to call this out now, we know that PSG is definitely not going to join because they still have the right for beIN Sports of the Champions League and the World Cup in 2024. Yeah, so I mean, I feel like they were in such like a stronghold or something. They felt like so pressured that they need to make more money like really quickly now, that it was so rushed, and that like they got everyone like fully like shitting on them. They got the UEFA like absolutely just demolishing them. All the fans were protesting in front of the stadiums. It was so bad timing.
The best part about all this, I think the American owners, especially I'm talking about Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man United, I think they're so smart because they've made Florentino Perez their puppet. Okay, so he's facing the media. He's talking about the Super League all by himself. You've got the Juventus president Agnelli as well. So you've got those two people running the whole show for them, and these three American owners, they're hiding behind their clubs. I mean, the worst part was
Dropping on the manager.
Liverpool Football Club the owner of Liverpool Football Club did not release a statement when all these things were talking about. So when the news broke out on Monday and Tuesday, the first 2 days when it was in full flow,
it was up to the manager.
There was a statement from Joel Glazer on the Liverpool website, but there was no statement from the Liverpool owner himself, which I think it's so smart and it's evil genius, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean these owners, they're not stupid. Like they are smart guys.
Yeah, and I mean, if I know some people want to cut these owners some slack, and even Klopp has said we're all humans at the end of the day. But even with the Liverpool owner's apology, okay, you can see in the video he's looking. You can look into his glasses and see that he's reading off the screen. It's not genuine. It's not from the heart.
Can you actually
try doing that again? Yeah, you can. Of course you can.
I need to watch that back then. I haven't seen that yet. That you could see the words like reflect in his glasses.
You've got to see in that. You can literally see he's sitting in there and he's got his glasses on, and you can literally look into. If you zoom into his glasses, you can see that he's reading out of the script. So,
yeah, I wasn't like expecting really anything else, but it does that makes it a bit sad, like for the fans to that you can actually see it.
I know. The point that I was making was it's obviously going to be Florentino Perez who's going to be facing all the backlash from the media and all social media, Twitter, fans all over the world. But I think the United owners and the Liverpool owners have had as much say in this, if not the most, as the others have. But they've not come into the fore because they've obviously hidden behind their clubs. But I think it's definitely going to go up once again in a few years' time, especially with the Glazers and the American owners in the Premier League.
My general feeling is that I think, obviously, we all know last week has been a complete disaster for these clubs. I don't know how they get to the mindset so that this would be a good idea, but it's because they're not footballing people, they're business people. They're always for the best. Whenever it involves money, they're going to go for that option. Obviously, it was a tough option. Thankfully, it got shut down, but I don't see it being the end of it. I do think that it'll come back at some point. Perez won't walk away. I mean, some of the stuff he chats as well in the media. He said that fans like our age were starting to lose interest in football, which makes no sense. And I think
he said we can make new fans or something, right?
Yeah, we were branded luxury. Was it? We were called something I don't call that us fans that watch the teams at the moment. I can't remember what it's called, but
the best part about that was he wanted to make the game shorter. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Make the game shorter.
Turn it into the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what you have then?
You'd have Tony Temple at half time between Manchester United. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, and you're going to have mid-game interviews as well. Pep Guardiola's just going to come out at half-time and talk about the tactics and stuff like that. And then Solskjaer's obviously going to come. He's not going to have any tactics. That's going to be just vibes. But yeah.
It's going to expose all the good Solskjaer.
The thing he said about we'll get new fans, I think he's right about that.
Is he though?
Yeah, I think there's fans worldwide that don't understand the traditional kind of concept of the sport. So there's more worldwide than in England. So if Manchester United lose a lot of their fans in England, they still have a huge fan base worldwide. What's to say that they can't then go and make up for the loss of those supporters that they shouldn't be forgotten about? They're the most important ones in England. But if you look at I don't think it'll happen because at the end of the day, I think there'll be a major backlash and then you get legal troubles. But yeah, I mean, it's like franchise football. That's what it is. I mean, it's just it's not ideal, but I don't think that will ever truly go away. It's scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think this Super League, of course, right now we have the really the big fans of I've really been introduced to that since I've been here to the UK, the big Liverpool fans, the big Man United fans. I got to know you pretty well, so you guys I would say you're a really big Man United fan with the history and everything around the club. But there's so many people around the world that follow Man United that don't really come into that category as you are.
Yeah.
So maybe it's difficult to say what the numbers exactly are, but I feel the category that you are in, the passionate ones that know all about the history, that's just a very small portion, I feel of Man United. And then there's so much on the global scale, there's so many more people that the Super League suddenly becomes available to watch.
Yeah.
So it's like for all those other people, the Super League is a really good idea because they can now watch Man United play against Liverpool, like two teams that they know, instead of Man United playing against Burnley. So
Yeah.
it's like this small portion that's going to be ripped away, but it's going to be replaced by I don't know how many millions of other people around the world.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's time that we're going to discuss on that, but we've got like 25 minutes in. I think we spoke a lot about that, but now kind of looking back on the football the weekend, if you don't mind. First of all, obviously the big game was Manchester City Tottenham. I'm sure Suresh was very unhappy with the full-time score. Not surprised though, because City seem to win everything at the moment. They are the dominant side in English football, but you said you watched the game, didn't you, Oscar? So what did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, City's just I just think they're too good at the moment. I felt like I honestly feel like Man City right now is like one of the best like teams that Guardiola has ever managed. I think it's pretty close to the Barcelona team. And I felt like I was a bit like interested before because I felt like they had like a little bit of a dip in the Champions League. They looked like they were a bit struggling. In the last couple of league games, they were also struggling a bit, losing a couple of points. But I feel like when they're fully motivated, they're fully energized. Like I think they're just too good for the Premier League and for Europe. I think as well.
City are like one of those teams that are just they're good to watch. I mean, they played us on Wednesday, but they didn't play great, but they know how to pass the ball, and once they keep the ball, you can't take it off them, and it's just kind of like it ties you down. And I think the best way you can play against them is like Man United did, because Solskjaer, the tactical genius, was able to
Yeah.
a kind of productive, normal way of playing, and they were able to obviously catch them out the counter attack. But I think most teams will struggle to do that because you need pace, you need energy, and you've got to be able to keep up with them first and foremost, and it's very hard to do that.
Yeah, I mean, like
yeah.
like Spurs was just like sitting back. They couldn't get like a touch on the ball, and then at a certain point, it just becomes like praying that you know, on like a magical moment, you might break through at some point in a counter attack. And yeah, I mean, I think the defense of City has improved a lot too since Diaz has come in. I think the defense is also so solid in terms of like making sure that like there's like a lock like on the back when there's like when their teams are like trying to counterattack.
Yeah, what do you think of it,
I
Suresh?
mean, I've obviously got a bit longer answer to all of this about City because I think Manchester City is one of the first clubs. You know all these Chelseas and the Man Cities and the PSGs. We all think of them as the money clubs and they just throw money into it. But I think Man City is one of the first footballing organisations that has been fueled properly to like build a dynasty and have an empire of success over a prolonged period. I think PSG's tried that as well, and they've succeeded in doing that in their league domestically. They haven't succeeded in the Champions League because obviously they haven't got Pep. Obviously, Barcelona, the stuff that he did at Barcelona warrants the kind of backing that he's got at Bayern Munich and now at Man City. But yeah, I just feel if you're competing against somebody who's obviously got so much more resources than you have, and on top of it, they're the best at the game as well. So it's like you're competing against. I'm probably going to use like an F1 reference. You're competing against Hamilton. It seems like that because I mean even with Man United as well, right? When we had that period of dominance under Ferguson in the 2000s, in the early 2000s, and then towards the end, it was all because we had the best manager probably. It wasn't about having the best squad, which in this case with Man City, they've got the best manager and they've got the best squad, and they keep adding to this squad. So if Man United, I mean, look at Man United, we lost Ronaldo 13 years ago, and we haven't replaced him yet. We got in Valentian, who's it? Yeah, Overton and Bebe to replace him. City lost company. They've got some Diaz right away. They've lost David Silva. They've got Phil Foden ready for the future. They're losing Aguero now, and for all I know and care about, I think they might get Haaland or Harry Kane probably in the summer. So it's just such a well-oiled club. it's very difficult to compete against them. But yeah,
I'm not sure if you've seen we've got notification. We've got 9 minutes.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's just to keep it short. I'd probably say, yeah, I would have been surprised if they didn't win yesterday. They came up against a Tottenham team that was obviously not having the best of periods of it all. I mean, you would have expected like an upturn in form, considering they'd sacked Jose Mourinho, and that tends to happen when you sack Mourinho.
I don't. Why would you sack a cup specialist? I mean, that makes no sense. I think it was because of their league position.
Yeah.
Because I think if they were a top 7, it costs less.
Yeah,
or something.
and there was a theory among Tottenham supporters as well, and within the Tottenham chairman and the boardroom level, that if Mourinho would have won the cup, it would have been difficult to sack him after that. So they got rid of him right in time, and they're probably going to avoid like having a bad downturn in form now, because I think they've pretty much hit rock bottom now. I think it's only going upwards after next season, if they manage to keep hold of Harry Kane, that is. But yeah, with Mourinho, it's just like that. I mean, it doesn't matter if you win or if you're not winning. It's just you feel like there comes a point where you think you've got to get rid of him. It's just not happening. You've got to feel excited about watching your football team, which I don't think the Tottenham fans were in the past few months, definitely under Mourinho. So yeah, I think irrespective of if they won the game or not, I think it was probably the right time to get rid of him. There's never a wrong time to get rid of Mourinho. So,
well, just 8 minutes. I think we'll finally come to one of the other games in your favourite manager in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So, what do you make of the performance yesterday? I felt like from the outside perspective, like you're never going to win the league. Leeds are fairly decent. Two teams that, I mean, they're probably, they're not going to want to lose to each other because it's kind of like a derby in a way.
Yeah.
But you've got one eye on Europe as well, as you weren't happy with. But what did you make of it?
I mean, I don't know. I felt it was quite weird, the decision to not let Bruno Fernandes and Rashford get a rest, because I mean, when you've got Pogba and Cavani and Van der Beek, I mean, you've got Donny Van der Beek. When you've got an able replacement in the team now, when Bruno Fernandes is not fit, why do you not play him? I just don't understand it. And these are the kind of games where, I mean, most of the times the problems that Man United have during a game are finding pockets of spaces and using that area well. Which the answer to that is Donny Van der Beek, and you've got him as well. Why are you not playing him? I just don't understand it. Even Cavani, people seem to think that, okay, he's a bit old and he's an injury-prone player. He's got a few injuries this season as well. So we just have to manage him well. But I just think Cavani needs to have like a good run of games under his belt now, because I think he's fit enough to start most games now. But obviously Solskjaer's the manager. He's obviously got a better handle of all of that. But yeah, I just don't understand the decision to not let Bruno Fernandes or Rashford have a rest. So I wasn't really surprised with the result of that game. I just didn't understand why it took Solskjaer so long to make those substitutions.
I was actually on Twitter after the game, and there were fans calling for his head. Like, I know he's not the most popular figure, but I don't get why fans were calling for his head after 5 wins in 6.
My opinion slightly changed. I mean, in the fact that I don't want to get rid of Solskjaer just now. I want him to have one proper summer where he gets at least 2 players that he wants, which would be one on the wing and probably, if Cavani stays, then probably a central defensive midfielder. If we get 2 more signings, I think we'd probably be decent enough to push a bit closer. Might not be able to win it all the way, but we might be able to go a bit more closer than what we have now.
I think to cash in Martial, to be honest. I think it's time.
Yeah. He's
then you'd have to replace him.
Yeah, he's never playing, and especially when he's got competition with him for the number 9 spot. I don't know, he just seems to sulk, and he doesn't seem to have the best of times when he's got competition. It happened when he had Lukaku, it happened when he had Zlatan as well, and it's happening now when he has Cavani. The one season that he's played so well has only been when he was the sole striker and he was playing all the games, and he knew he was going to start all the games all the time.
So how would you rate Solskjaer's season then for Manchester United?
I mean, so the thing with that is, when you look at it and when you look at all the stats, you probably think it's not the worst season, considering we're second and we've reached the semi-final in the Europa League. But it's just we've kind of not capitalized on the situations that we were in. So when you look at the start of this year, say January 1st, I think we were close to the top of the table. We were either second or we were first. I don't know. There was this one brief period where we were first in the table after Christmas, that was. And I just thought, okay, we're getting to somewhere. Let's kick on from there now. But then obviously, I mean, we haven't got the best of squads to be able to compete there at that level. If Liverpool would have had all their players fit this season, I don't think we would have been second. I don't think we're better than a fully fit Liverpool squad. So I think he's done a decent job. He's obviously not had the best of summers last year when he wanted Sancho and he wanted somebody else. I think he wanted a centre back as well.
I think second for you guys in the Europa League would be a very, very good season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just give him one more year, probably. Let's see what he does in that next year. And if we see signs of progress, then I'm happy with him. Which I do. I do see signs of progress right now as well. It's just we're missing a few key players in a few key positions in the team, which we need to strengthen in the summer, and then we'd probably be good to push again.
We actually have 3 minutes, so what have we games for that? Oh yeah, Villa drew to West Brom, my team.
Yeah.
We played okay, better than we had in recent times. More fluid football, but still, I'm not happy. But I mean, I'm not gonna kind of put my opinion out there on the manager because it's controversial. I mean, he's done well to take us up, but I mean, how far can he take us? I think that's the question most fans will be thinking. But for now, we are a bang average mid-table team. We've got to play, I think, United soon, so we've got a lot of hard games as well. I can't really see us winning a game between now and the end of the season. We might beat Palace. I don't know. I mean, I'm not very confident. Very Grealish, we look nothing like a team that can actually win a game. There's no substance in the way that we play. It's just really depressing to watch. But to be fair, at least we didn't lose yesterday because we pretty much almost sent Baggers down. I mean, too late as well. I have.
I mean, to be fair, you came up against the West Brom side that's in decent form themselves. I think they've been really nice after that Chelsea game. I know they lost last week. Was it? They lost midweek to Leicester. That was Thursday. But I think apart from that, I think they've played pretty well. Do you reckon their player, who's the West Brom player, Pereira? You reckon somebody's going to buy him up next year?
I'd love to see him at Villa, but I'm not so sure that's going to happen. I mean,
if they don't stay up, I'm sure somebody's going to pick him up. Definitely, he's had a good season. Him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think that's probably going to end it for today because we are very short on time. So yeah, so for a short podcast for anyone that isn't amongst ourselves that actually watches this, fair play. But thanks for coming on, Oscar and Suresh. Well, thanks for giving your opinion on the Super League and giving Solskjaer a chance. I think that's really considerate of you.
Yeah, I know. I give him a hard time about tactics, but I think he's doing a decent job right now. So yeah, I'm not going to get a chance in the
Super League. Is he going to get a chance in the Super League?
Who is Solskjaer?
Yeah.
I feel like basically.
I don't think he will.
All right. That's it, guys. Cheerio. See you next. We'll probably back next Thursday, normal time.